Hi, Simon. Thanks for speaking to me. You're one of the residents in the building. How long have you been living in this building?
Since 1999.
Were you one of the first people to buy your flat?
Yeah,
Are you the original owner of this flat?
yeah, I'm the owner.
So you bought it 2 years after it was constructed?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Why did you buy this flat, first of all?
Why did I buy it?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be closer to work, really.
Were you from Catford originally?
No, Greenwich,
Greenwich.
and we
Okay.
moved here.
Okay. Did you look around the building before you bought it? Did you think the building made an impression on you?
Yeah, it was good in those days.
What was it like when you first bought it?
It was really good.
Let's describe the first 5 years, what you thought. That was under the management of David Atkin.
David Atkins, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought he did quite a good job, really.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So was he looking after the garden at the time?
Yeah, if you rang him up, he'll do something straight away.
Yeah. And who was the main contact with David Atkin?
Brian Cudby.
Yeah. Did you find Brian Cudby to be knowledgeable about
Yeah, he
managing?
seemed to know what he was doing, yeah.
Was a building was a regular 5-yearly work done on the building? Because usually in buildings you'd have to have.
Yeah. I think the outside was done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The outside was done regularly.
What was that, like trimming the bushes and
Yeah,
cleaning around there?
yeah.
And in the garden.
In the regular garden, they had a window cleaner all the time.
When did you first notice problems within the building?
After David Atkins went, really.
I would say that was about 2012, or was when
Yeah,
he was
probably. Yeah,
sacked.
yeah.
So initially,
Yeah.
Skillcrown replaced David Atkin with
Yeah.
Acorn Property Management,
Right.
and they were managing the building for, I think, about a year or something.
Yeah.
Before the leaseholders decided that they weren't happy with Acorn, and that's when they pursued right to manage. And were you part of? Did they organise meetings? Did you participate in the meetings?
Oh, what, steering committee meetings?
Oh yeah, all those meetings.
Yeah, my dad used to, he used to go on the Saturday mornings, and Rob was like in charge.
Right. And what did you discuss?
What did we discuss? Keeping the place clean and all that.
Yeah.
Nothing much,
Did they talk to you about right to manage?
No, nothing like
Okay.
that. Rob, he was in charge of it.
Yeah. When did you become aware of right to manage? Because you're one of the people who agreed to that, so you're one of the members on the right to manage. I guess your father wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Were you involved? You don't know. They didn't have meeting to discuss how it was going to work.
No.
Do you understand what right to manage is?
Not really.
Right to manage is when the leaseholders take away the management of the building from the landlord.
Yeah.
They don't have to have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
They can just decide that they want to manage the building themselves. And essentially, that is a right of the leaseholders to do. So all they need to do is have more than 50% of the leaseholders agree to do that. And then they can hire a solicitor. In this case, they hired Urban Owners to do the legal work and change over the management. This is because there were a lot of complaints from leaseholders saying that freeholders were ripping them off with the service charge. Did you feel that the service charge was unreasonable at the time?
Yeah, it kept going up every year.
Yeah. And did you feel that the work was like...
No, the work wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't. Do you remember when Prime Property Management took over?
Well, not what year?
Not the year. They took over in 2017.
Right.
And what do you think since Prime Property Management took over?
Not very good. The building's very dirty, and the garage is in a state, and there's loads of bin bags on the floor every day.
And has Prime been proactive in speaking with residents and having meetings?
Not really. I don't think even they come round.
No.
They might come round once a year. That's it.
So you've never seen them?
I've never seen anyone from Prime.
No.
Us get into the garage.
Yeah.
And fight the wires.
Yeah, mice and rats. The directors at the time, they would have been the leaseholders, so they would have been in charge of the building.
Yeah.
Did you speak to any of them? What did they do?
I never spoke to any directors.
No. Do you know who the directors were? I know you mentioned Rob.
Rob, that's the only one I sort of saw.
So you never met anybody else?
No one.
So after Right to Manage, I believe they were Rob.
Yeah.
Salim. Do you know Salim? No.
No.
And then Brett, and below you.
No, I never seen Brett. I think my dad's seen Brett once. Because there was a meeting or something in a restaurant or something.
Yeah, we had a meeting at the restaurant.
So that was the only time you saw Brett, essentially.
Yeah, my dad did. I've never seen Brett.
Okay. So what do you think of that kind of? What do you think directors should do?
We should be knocking on your door, talking to you. What's going on?
And who do you think has done that?
Or what directors?
Yeah, or anybody in the building who has really gone out and done that, knocking on your door and speaking to you?
Oh, Yen, you always ring me up and.
So you think that's what directors should do? They should.
Yeah, they should themselves.
They should communicate with you more.
Yeah, yeah.
And in terms of the work that they do you know what work they've done? No.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Well, they must do something, but I don't know what they do.
Well, were you aware when Skill Crown offered the freehold for sale then?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Did anybody speak to you about that?
No, no one.
Were you aware there were meetings going on at the time and they were discussing it in the meeting?
No, I didn't know about meetings. I presume meetings must have gone on.
Well, yeah, there were right to manage meetings.
Yeah.
They were. I was not involved in the meeting, but Rob told me.
Yeah.
That he hosted a few meetings. So nobody asked you if you were interested in buying the freehold?
No.
Would you have been? Do you think they should?
I probably wouldn't have done it anyway.
But do you think that they should have?
Yeah, they should have.
But they didn't bother.
No.
So at the time when the freehold there was another guy, Kaleem, Brett, and Rob. They were all the directors at the time.
Yeah.
But you never heard of who? Do you know who Kaleem is?
I heard the name, but I've never seen him.
Okay, you know the name, but you've never seen him.
Yeah.
So essentially, all of that just bypassed you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that was the right thing for them to do? That?
Not really, no.
No. So you're one of the short-hold flats. You didn't buy the freehold, and you don't.
I paid the ground rent.
But you should have been approached.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The first time you heard about the freehold, about buying the freehold, was from me. Wasn't it? Yeah.
All the information I get is from you.
Yeah.
I don't get it from anyone else.
Yeah. Because I think that's, if you are a director, that is your job.
Yeah.
You know, and the way the directors work in this building is that their only interest was just to be directors. They're not interested in doing anything else. And most of the time, they don't know what they're doing. Would you agree that these people don't know what they're doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Would you agree that they're reliant on prime property management to help them?
Yeah, but prime rules say it's down to the directors, not to them, when you ask them for anything.
Right. Every time you approach prime tells you to speak to the directors.
Yeah, we have to ask the directors.
Right.
It's like when the TV wasn't working, we have to speak to the director.
What other problems have you had? Have you had any mice problems? We
had mice where we got pest control or something.
Pest control.
And there's foxes outside anyway.
Yeah, that shouldn't be there. It's pretty dangerous because if there are foxes in there and people are leaving the doors open.
There's a sign, please close the door, but they don't.
Where is that sign? I didn't see the sign.
Oh, downstairs, I think.
In the front or the back?
The front.
That's.
Please close the door at all times.
That's a tiny sign.
Yeah, it's not big.
Teeny tiny font.
Yeah,
like 12 front. Yeah.
Please close the door at all times.
Well, you know what? I told Mammoth. Remember the time when he sent out the email and to threaten the leaseholders that if they didn't close the door,
you'd be charged.
Yeah. What did you think of that email?
It's stupid.
Stupid.
How can you charge people?
Exactly. Well, firstly, the Prime did it incorrectly, and this shows how unprofessional Prime is that you can't prove it. The problem with the door being left unlocked rather than open, it's like there's no way that they can determine who did that, who left the door unlocked.
Do the cameras still work?
The camera wouldn't show that because the door is always closed.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it's unlocked. It needs like a final push to lock it properly.
Yeah.
But it always shows us closed. Whoever goes in and out of the building. Yeah. That's kind of thing that shows how the directors had no clue what they were doing because they never thought about that. And also, Prime is sending out an email and imposing a penalty, but they did not state what the penalty, how much the penalty is going to be.
Yeah.
That was very unprofessional because it basically gives them license to make up the fine to anyone they want. So they can charge you £50.
Yeah.
They can charge me £200. And because the leaseholders in this building, they don't talk to each other, you won't even know that you're being ripped off, essentially. So that was wrong. And thirdly, the problem with that email is that we had lots of problem in this building with sewage, with rats, with mice with terrible state it's in. Imposing a fine to live in this disgusting building was being dictatorial, and he shouldn't have done that. And I said to them that if the residents complain, you're the one who's going to end up being fined, and it is going to be the RTM company that probably have to pay for the penalty, not Prime. So the director's reliance on Prime, thinking that they know what they're doing, the director have put themselves in a situation where they could have been fined. So that wasn't a very good idea. Now that you know the full information of that email, what would you like to say about that?
It's really bad what they done.
Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad. And I told them that. They seem to have. So the next one is, you've seen the photographs in the building?
Yeah, it's in a terrible state.
Yeah. Are you aware?
Did Prime know about it?
You've been in the emails where I've been complaining to Prime for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
To Prime and the directors, I've been complaining about them.
They reply?
Well, you saw the emails. They sometimes reply, but they make excuses, but they don't do the work. Do you think that we should continue to employ this company?
Have you got any better alternative?
Of course, there's an alternative. There's plenty of companies out there. But I'm saying, do you think that we should continue to employ this company?
Not really, if they're not doing the job properly.
Do you think that they're knowledgeable?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think they're professional?
No.
Do you think they're communicative? For you, do you think that? No, you don't.
No, they send emails about abandoned cars and all that business. That's all they do.
Yeah. Do you think that they're profiting from you?
There must be, yeah.
Yeah.
They must make a lot of money on the service charge.
Do you think a director who knows his job should do the right thing and sack this company?
They should do, yeah.
Yeah. Have they ever asked you your opinion?
No.
Why do you think they're still keeping Prime on?
I don't know. Maybe they're making money.
Do you think the directors are making money? I think it's down to the fact the directors are too stupid.
Yeah.
Mammoth, he's the one who told Prime to send out that email about the penalty. That shows how stupid he is.
Yeah.
And he basically wants to keep Prime on because he doesn't know how to do the job. And he doesn't know how to look for a professional company either. It's the same with the previous directors, Kaleem and Salim, or whoever found Prime. They just basically found a company that was cheapest for them. And they didn't, the contract that they signed with Prime, they didn't read it properly, because I read the contract and I thought it had a lot of shortcomings that I wouldn't have agreed to. I would have gone through the contract properly. I would have stated clearly what I wanted from the management agent, what I expect from them, what kind of service I want from them. So have you experienced saw the sewage that we had in the sewage spill that we had in this building too?
No, you told me, but I didn't see it.
No, so you didn't.
But you see, your tenant smelt it.
Yeah, she did. She said it was. But you down here, you didn't.
No, I didn't smell anything.
Oh, well, you were lucky. You didn't smell. But we had literally from 2019 or 20, we had one about at least once a year, a sewage blockage, and that would spill out into the garage. Were you aware there was like flooding in the garage?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, but you don't have a car, so you never go.
No, I don't. I never go down there.
Yeah,
I haven't got a car.
Yeah. What do you think of the new directors now, James and Mammoth?
I don't really know them, to be honest.
No, they've never spoken to you either.
No.
Go to any of the meetings?
I went a few, didn't I? But I didn't go to the last. I don't think I went to the last two.
So again, do you think the new directors?
They're very overpowering, aren't they?
Yeah, you think they're overpowering? Yeah. You think they're too authoritarian?
Yeah.
You think they don't know what they're doing and they're trying to control you?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they're trying to do. Do you think that they're good directors?
Too early to say, I suppose.
You're saying that they're authoritarian.
Well, they had a meeting recently, but I haven't heard anything of what happened.
No. But do you think that they've done a good job so far?
Not really.
No.
Messed up the garden, didn't they?
Yeah. That was a big fail.
Yeah.
That was a big fail. So what you think what they did to the garden wasn't good or
bad, wasn't it? They should have waited for you to come back from holiday to sort it out, really.
Yeah, well, they didn't understand what they were doing, and that essentially they messed it up. I was furious about that because Mammoth, who made the decision, because we hired a new, I told them that we need a new gardener because the old one, they weren't doing the job, and they were just, we were paying them £150 a month. which wasn't a lot of money, but for the work that they did, that was free money.
Yeah.
So, and you saw the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was overgrown. It was just neglected, essentially.
Yeah.
Have you been down to the garden ever?
No, I haven't been. I could see it from my bedroom window.
Yeah. So you can see that it was all a lot of bushes that were overgrown.
Yeah.
And I told them we need to change gardeners in order to and tidy up the garden. And also we had trees that had roots that were damaging the garden, and they were going towards the building. If the roots start going towards the building, it could attack the building.
Yeah.
And also there was a tree outside in flat number 9.
Right.
You see that the tree that was planted right next to flat number 9.
Yeah.
That Prime ignored for years. I noticed it maybe in 2017, 18, when I came to see my tenant. I would see that tree, and I always thought to myself, that tree needs to be removed, because if it grows, it's going to start attacking the window and try to break the window and try to get into the flat, which they never did. And also it was blocking the view of flat number 9 as well. But all those years, every time I come to this building, I didn't see anything being done to that tree. So it's just basically overgrown. And that was a very stupid thing. I mean, that shows how stupid Prime is. They don't even know that simple fact that tree that tree growing in that tiny little space would end up damaging the building. So I applied to the council to remove the trees. And in there, I told the council that we needed to remove these trees, and we were going to re-landscape the garden and make the garden a nice place for people to have barbecues and maybe to go out and sit, and to bring back wildlife, things like birds, butterflies, bees, and all the insects. Create a habitat for wildlife, which there wasn't before. And what happened was we hadn't received the council planning's permission yet. And then as soon as we appointed the new gardener, stupid mammoth told the gardener to remove all the plants in the garden, and just clear it off. And then afterwards he said, well, we're not going to put it back because we haven't got any more money. It's like, well, if you knew that, you should have actually thought before you move. Essentially what happens without the plants there, he removed the plants. We're trying to remove the trees. If we removed the trees, that would be environmental damage, because that would deplete the environment of oxygen. And because he refused to re-landscape the garden, he wanted the way it was. He thought it would look great. Do you think it looked great?
No, not really.
There was also the plant that was growing along the wall of the garage.
Yeah.
That was doing an essential job for the garage there, because we have problems with that wall being wet. You've looked at it and you can see all the moss growing.
Yeah.
It looks very ugly. But the plant there, that was the English ivy. That its job was actually would have been to soak up all the excess water coming from the patio above, and also it was protecting the wall, because it was covering the wall, so it was protecting it from pollution, from environmental pollution, and also it was actually reducing the pollution from the garage that was coming into the garden. So there's things like carbon monoxide from the vehicles, from the cars, and also carbon dioxide, all those noxious gases that coming from the garden coming from the garage into the garden where the kids are playing. So he was stupid to remove that, but Mammoth didn't understand what the purpose of that plant was. He didn't know, so that's why he removed it. Essentially now, you're not part of any meeting.
No.
So you had one incident with Prime and the directors in this building.
Yeah,
do you remember that happened?
My key got broken, and I reported it, and then they investigated, and then they said I deliberately broke it. They charged me nearly £500.
And what did you say to them?
I didn't agree with it. So they sent me a new key, and then someone signed for it, and it got mislaid. I never got it, so I had to pay twice for the key, like £18.75 twice.
So there was actually another instance, I think in 2021 or 21 or something, where the lock was also broken, and it was Rob.
Yeah, you told me that Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Rob was charged for that. So there was a problem with the lock then.
No, because apparently Rob initiated that I should have to pay for it.
Rob said that.
Yeah. Because he said he's got it on camera, but I never got no pictures.
So basically, they just accuse you of doing so without any proof.
Yeah.
And did you pay?
Yeah, I paid.
Why did you pay if you weren't guilty?
Because I thought I had to pay.
You had
So
to
I rang
pay.
them up and said, you have to pay, they said.
And Prime wasn't interested in investigating.
No, they said the directors said that I have to pay.
Well, that again was the wrong thing to do because they didn't have proof. They should have paid for it out of the service charge, which you pay.
Yeah.
And then maybe if it happens again and again, and it was down to you, then I would say yes, you would have to pay. Would you agree that was better?
Yeah, that would be a better solution.
Yeah. So were you angry at the time that they treated you like this?
I wasn't happy,
Yeah.
especially with the key that went missing.
Yeah. And you still want your money back from that?
Yeah, but I won't get it back.
Yeah. Have you told the directors to give you your money back?
No, I haven't.
No. What do you think of Mamas's communication with you, with the people in this building? Have you heard any communication from him?
Nothing.
No. Do you think he's a good director?
Not at the moment.
No. What about James? Do you know who he is?
I've never seen him.
You've never seen him?
Seems like a better person than Mammoth, I think, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, James is like Mama's pet dog. And what about Shalene? She was another...
I know these names, but I've never seen them.
No. You've never heard communication from Shalene either?
No.
She's not the official director, but they are the three of them, like, working together.
Yeah.
And they are supposed to be directors, although so far I think she has not put her name down as director of the building. You know that James and Shalene are new owners, new in the building. They're not... I think Shalene is maybe about 2 years and James maybe less than that. Do you think that people who are new in the building should be made directors?
Not really.
No. Why not?
They just come to the building, really.
Yeah. They don't have any knowledge and experience.
If there's no one else, I suppose they've got to do it, I suppose.
They want to
do.
Well, there was Brett, but then he never did the work.
No.
Do you know about Brett's reputation in the building at all?
Only from you.
Yeah, only from me. Yeah. Because he never communicates or he never tells anybody, does he?
No.
No. He never talks to you or anybody in the building, right?
No, I've never spoke to him.
No.
Never seen him.
No. Do you think that's a good person to be?
Not really.
If you're a director and you have never...
Should be communicating with people, shouldn't they?
Yeah. So do you think in this building there is a kind of a clique? The directors have certain people in the building who follow them around.
Yeah.
And then other people...
Best mates.
Yeah. So they're quite pally with each other.
Yeah.
And they give support to each other. But that's not how a director should be. You should be doing the job. You're not here to be friends with everybody. You're here to do the job. You have to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
How much do you think it will cost to restore this building?
Loads of money.
Lots of money.
100,000, maybe.
That's exactly what I thought. But Mamas has absolutely no clue about that. No clue. Did you see him send out the email for the meeting where he included a wish list?
Wish list?
Yeah, he made a wish list.
Oh, that. Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that. Do you think that's professional coming from... That's how that's how you should manage a restoration project?
No, not really.
By making a wish list. I actually gave him a project plan because I told him that you need to have a project plan. This is a restoration project. It's not a birthday party. You're not be making a wish list. But he refused to take that advice. And James and Shalene, they were just agreeing with him along that side. Do you speak to other people in the building at all? Have you spoken to them?
Never see anyone.
No. You don't. Do you think there's a good community community in this building?
Most of the people in this bit, 9 to 16, I think they're renting.
Yeah.
I think it's only me and Rob that own it.
Yeah, it's
no one else, is there?
Yeah, it's probably. But do you think having tenants rather than leaseholder in the building affects the community?
Not really.
But in a community, does that mean that people should be helping each other, right?
Yeah.
They should be, you've got people, Brett lives in the building. He's another resident. He's another leaseholder.
He's left though, isn't he?
He's gone on holiday at the moment, but he was living there.
I thought he's left.
I think he's got tenants in.
Oh.
Yeah. But he has been living in this building all these years. He's just one floor down from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. but he's never spoken to you, despite being one floor down from
Never
you.
seen him.
Right. Despite being a director who lives in the same building as
Yeah,
you.
never seen him.
No. What do you think his motivation to be a director is?
Power, I suppose.
I mean, power and status and control, I guess, right?
He wants to be in charge.
Yeah. Do you think do you like that kind of people?
Not really.
No. Do you think that he should be a director of the freehold?
No, not really.
No. Do you think he should have been a director of the right to manage company?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Yeah. Like, do you think it's right of him to actually come in and push and take over the freehold after it was purchased?
No.
No. Why?
I still think it's right person for it.
No. Well, he didn't do any work for it,
No,
so he
didn't do
shouldn't have
nothing,
been a
did he?
director. No.
Didn't do nothing.
No, he did nothing at all. In fact, it was his stupidity that cost us the freehold. Actually, it was prime stupidity that cost us the freehold, because Stephen Wiles, he owns Prime.
Yeah.
And Rob at the time asked him to draft the Section 6 notice, which was a reply to the Section 5. And Rob didn't want to pay money to a solicitor to do that, because he had been through that in the past, where the Skill Crown would offer the freehold for sale, and then it was a fake offer, and he would just withdraw it. And Rob said that we paid for solicitors before, but we lost that money, so he wasn't willing to go through it again, because he felt this time the Skill Crown, the freeholder, was messing him around again. So he asked Prime to draft the Section 6. And Stephen Wiles, he didn't know what he was doing. He wrote like gibberish on a piece of paper, and he sent it through to Skill Crown solicitor, and Skill Crown solicitor rejected outright because it wasn't properly drafted. So really, it was Prime that cost us the freehold. The question I want to ask you, with the penalty, the way the directors and Prime imposing penalty on you, do you think it's right for them to do that?
No, definitely not.
Who are the judge and jury? They are the Prime and directors. Have you ever seen Prime and the directors impose a penalty on themselves?
No, they won't do that.
No, they won't do that.
No.
So quite frankly, you think that the whole setup of how they're behaving is disgusting.
It's not very good when they want to fine you for late payment of the service charge.
Even fine you for anything.
Yeah.
Anything. It's like they can't impose penalty. I want to send this also to all the MPs as well, to see how managing agents are behaving, and also to show how, in terms of when it comes to right to manage, it's a failure. In certain circumstances, it won't work, because what you're going to end up is in the same situation as it was as before, where people are jostling for power. Once the freeholder is removed, there will be leaseholders who want to take on the role of the freeholder and start to turn against people in the building, and make them submit to their demands, the way Brett wanted everybody to submit to him. So why is it that you don't really speak out against these people? You always keep it very quiet.
Well, a quiet life, I suppose.
Yeah, but are you afraid to speak out?
No, not really.
No, but you're doing this podcast as a way to speak out.
Yeah.
But you've seen the way they attack me, though.
Yeah,
that's not very.
They don't like you, do they?
Yeah, when I speak out against their,
because you answer back.
Yeah, because I think their behaviour is atrocious, and they have shown, so they're like savages. Actually, they're like animals in this building. Have you heard of the story of Animal Farm?
Yeah, you told me before.
Yeah, but do you know how it works out? How the story pans out? So the animals they were being oppressed by the farmer, and they organized a revolution, and they had the farmer removed. And then what happens next is that the animals start jostling for power. So the pigs that became the dominant animals in the farm, and they start trying to control all the other farmers. So they're imposing rules, like the animals would wake up one day and found that the pigs have written new rules, and if you disobey those rules, the pigs would kill you. That's the story of Animal Farm. That's like the short story of Animal Farm. And you see how the people in this building behave in the same way. Like suddenly, a few weeks after Mammoth become director, he sends out this nasty email in saying that if you don't shut the door,
you get fined.
You get fined. Exactly. That's how animals behave. Like animals who don't have intelligence. That's how you can see that this building is turning into an Animal Farm. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's true. So you see all these, and this is what I'm trying to get rid of. And then in the last meeting in October, they were telling Prime to send out threatening letters. What do you think of that?
Threatening letters? What, for a service charge?
No, threatening letters because the tenants were using parking spaces that belong to other flats. But what do you think of the idea of just sending threatening letters?
They shouldn't send threatening letters.
Yeah, they don't have a right to go around sending letters. That's very aggressive, and that's also going to lead to more to war in this building. What kind of threats are they imposing? Is it eviction? So is it death threats? No. If they're allowed to do that, that's what they would do.
Yeah,
they would go on.
It's just for finding people, isn't it? Really.
Do you even agree with the fine?
No, I don't agree with it. That's what they're doing it for.
Yeah. So we need to speak out and say, if you find us, we'll have to take it to the police and report it, because that's extortion. That's not, there's no reason there's no mandate to impose a fine on anybody in this building. People are just making up rules and slapping a fine on that. You can't go around making up rules and thinking that forcing.
I suppose they can fine people if they do something wrong.
Yeah, but there's no rule in this building for them to do anything wrong.
No.
Right? What have they done wrong? Has anybody ever said that, oh, this is not your parking space, don't use it? No. Nobody's ever said that to anybody. So, and why would the leaseholders complain about that when the directors and the leaseholder themselves have gone around stealing people's ideas, stealing people's work, and pushing people and being rude to other people? And so what is, I just think this building needs to be when I said to them, you saw the email I replied, what you need to have is like a residence manual or residence agreement.
Yeah.
Right? That is the start of civility. That is the beginning. You tell people these are the things that you can and cannot do in this building. But their way of doing things is to just tell Prime to send out emails. Have you actually read any of Prime's email taken note of that?
No, not really.
No, yeah. They get binned after about a week.
I've never seen many of Prime's emails.
No, but even so, when Prime sends an email, you just bin them, don't you? Really?
I take notice of them, but
yeah, but then they get.
It's
buried.
like we're getting a window cleaner. Then they said because of the bad weather, we can't have a window cleaner.
Yeah, but then also the emails get buried underneath all the other emails, and nobody remembers what the previous emails was about.
Yeah.
So that's really poor management. I mean, that shows you this company is supposed to be a professional company.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything professional being done in this building by Prime Property Management?
No, nothing.
Yeah, exactly. The directors force you to pay £500 for the door, and you see the building the way it is. Who do you think is responsible for paying for all the repairs in this building?
Directors and Prime.
Exactly. But because they're the ones who wrecked the buildings, they didn't do the job.
Yeah.
So they should pay for it.
Yeah.
So why is it that these directors seem to think that they can threaten us with penalties? In the latest meeting, Mammoth was talking about, there was mention of another penalty about the garage. Why do you think they keep doing that?
They would be in power so much.
It's about power for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also think it's because they haven't a clue how to communicate the information to the residents.
Yeah.
And when they are so ignorant, that's the first thing that they resort to, because it seems like it's the same as when they did the door. The first thing they thought of was the penalty, when all they had to do was just put notice on the door.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of you've listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
What's your comment on the podcast, on what now that you know more?
Everything you've said is correct. What's been going on?
Yeah. Do you think that's corruption?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And do you think that how does it make you feel that these people are pushing themselves to be directors when they couldn't do the job?
It's wrong.
Yeah. And how do you think Prime has enabled them by doing this? Do you think Prime is profiting?
They've got to be making profit, haven't they?
Well, they're
From the
making
service charge.
they're making a profit because they're being paid to do something they're not doing, for the one thing. What other what other comments you want to make about?
About Prime?
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone from Prime ever.
Yeah.
When we had David Atkins, the previous managing agent, you used to ring him up and he used to always help you out with your problems, come round and everything.
Yeah, you used to be able to deal with David Atkins directly, right?
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
The managing agent is there and they should answer your question. They shouldn't tell you to go to the directors.
No.
Directors don't own this building.
No.
And our directors are incompetent, corrupt, dishonest. So they shouldn't, just because they've got a few people who are their friends to support them, it does not mean anything. Plenty more people who don't support them. I mean, the residents in this building don't seem to care who they are.
No.
They don't know who they are, right? Just something. Yeah, so all these disputes within the building, people not paying their service charge, people think that's not good for anyone, is it?
People pay their service charge because they're scared getting fines.
Yeah, that's why people are doing.
That's why they pay it.
Yeah, because Prime is basically threatening them. If you don't pay, we'll penalise you.
Within 6 weeks or something.
They will force you
Legal action.
Yeah. So this is the kind of thing I want to take up probably with MPs in the future. That these
do all managing agents do that?
I think they
Fines
do. Yeah, but they should. But when they're not doing their job, they have no right to do that.
Yeah.
They in fact, Prime should be the one who compensate us. We should be penalising Prime, and Prime needs to compensate us. You said that the cost of the repair for this building is 100,000.
Yeah.
That should be paid for by who?
Well, Prime
And the directors.
Yeah.
So when you have mammoths
I'm not sure they've got 100,000. Huh?
Well, they put themselves in this position.
Might have.
Well, if there's this kind of constraint over them, if they have this, then maybe they will think twice before they volunteer to be directors.
Yeah.
Well, because right now there's no, they just seem to think all they have to do is be a director, and whatever damage they cause in the building, they don't have to pay for it. It's us who has to pay for it, and that needs to change.
Yeah.
Look at the windows. Look at how Rockton, how Brett, Nicole, George, and Jenny managed that window. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely horrible. The building was wrecked almost. And then afterward, there was no apology from them at all. And that happened because Brett, Nicole, and George and Jenny weren't interested in discussing the windows. That was our biggest project that we had to discuss every time we had a meeting. But instead of actually discussing that, all they wanted to do was talk about Brett's idea of calling the company CCA. So there was at no point in the directors' meetings did they ever discuss the project, the Windows project. And that's why it failed so badly, because I was dealing with Rockton at the time, and I had I wasn't happy. They sent invoices that was incorrect, and I had to go back to them.
Wanted to do my windows, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually waited outside your door.
You gave me advice not to use them, so we didn't use them.
Yeah. So, and we got another company, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the Window Clinic.
Yeah.
And they were perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like I had my suspicion about Rockton because they sent invoices and all the invoices were incorrect, and I had to go back to them numerous times and tell them, please correct the invoices. These figures are incorrect. So I wasn't sure about them. Then of course there were complaints about how they were doing the windows, but because the directors weren't interested in talking that, I left it to them, and I guess they thought that Prime would take care of it for them. And that was Brett. Like I said, he was never interested in doing any work. All he wanted to do was to have the power in the building, and that. So I want to send this recording to Prime because I think they should be publicly humiliated for the terrible work that they've done to this building. What do you think of that?
I agree with that.
Yeah, you think that Prime needs to be sacked, and they need to actually, and people, other leaseholders, other in London here, they should be aware of how terrible this company is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.